Hi, welcome to Show to V with Mike G. The show of life, the show of microphones, the show of Michael Phillips today from Midnight Cowboy. Apparently, I've got a trend going here, a pattern. Perhaps it's subconscious that I am secretly in love with all of the crew at Midnight Cowboy, as driven by Brian Dressel some time ago. But today we got Michael Phillips, the GM for Midnight Cowboy. You know, Midnight Cowboy is an interesting place. There's not really a speakeasy in Austin in that same sense. They've got a board outside where you have to hit a secret button, although it's not so secret now, but you've got to hit a button, you've got to make reservations. But once that door is opened, relieving you of the dismay and the chaos that is 6th Street, you are invited into one of the most lush, friendly, and innovative places in Austin, Texas. And I can't wait to see what happens in the future with Midnight Cowboy. People moving on to bigger and better things. But let's think of the Midnight Cowboy staff some years ago as the dream team. But it's a great chat with Michael. We talk about the death of his father. We talk about how love has really helped his life and been a big support system for him. But it's great drinking with Michael. Michael gets pensive, gregarious, and he's a really intelligent guy. So I hope you enjoy this interview with Michael Phillips.
16, 17 years ago.
Industry or
something
no?
like that. She is now. She's been...
Oh, no.
I know. So she...
Is that your fault or is it someone else's?
It's kind of my fault. I would say, okay, so a while back, a good buddy of mine, old friends of ours, opened up Ramen Tatsuya, the first store.
Oh, man.
And they had the soft opening. And I was like, oh, hey, Sarah, we got a ramen place in town now. Like, I've been talking about this for years. We both spent a little time in Japan, and we just saw like ramen every other day. And we hit up a couple of different cities that have some decent ramen as well. So I was like, Austin doesn't have shit yet. And there is a place, that I will not name that has like ramen for lunch, but it's
not good.
It's crap.
I think I know that place. Yeah, I think I've been to that place.
I don't like to name names.
Yeah, sure.
It was kind of exciting. So I was like, hey, we're gonna go to this place. It's a soft opening. Let's go check it out. So we get there, and we walk up to the counter, and the girl at the counter, the cashier
with the glasses,
Chia.
She's always there. Yeah,
Chia. Yeah, she's not there anymore.
Oh, but right. She's bigger and better things. Doing
well, she has a baby
media,
now.
Right?
She just had a baby with Greg Nonis, who's one of the head chefs at Olame.
Oh, no kidding.
They're I guess they're officially married now, or
good.
or whatever. But they were best friends in high school, and so walking up, she was just like, "What the?" Like they hadn't talked in years, so they just got chatting like a couple of girls again, and got really excited. And we went there a few more times, and she was like, I guess sort of like, hey man, we really need some help. Like if you want to do some part-time stuff. And Sarah was like, yeah, fuck it, why not?
Yeah.
She's working in a pharmacy as a pharmacy tech for years now,
where the money is.
Yeah. And hating her life, and just dealing, like we get into like some amount of arguments. She would be coming home and like bitching about work, but usually I'd chime in, well, this one guy was drunk, and he was kind of a dick, and wanted to stop a fight. She's like, no.
I killed the guy.
I deal with people who are addicted to prescription medicines,
right.
And they will climb over a counter and kill you if you don't give it to them. Like these are serious addicts. You know what I mean? Like I deal with horrible people. Like,
no, booze renders you useless.
Yeah.
You don't ever fight. I mean, you fight, but then you pass out.
Sure.
It's not so bad. But if you're on like fucking Dilaudid, well, you might actually just not be able to make it out at all.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
Opiates are fun, man.
It's a big deal, yeah.
Yeah. So, she ended up kind of part-timing with them for a little bit. And then at some point she said, yeah, fuck this. I'm done with the pharmacy. And so she went full-time, became a manager there. And
oh, cool. Is she working there now?
She's still there, yeah.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm, yeah. She stepped down from management, but she's still practically running the show.
No
She
shit.
can't, like, unplug like me, so we get along that way.
Are you hyper attentive and thinking about the details all the time?
Yeah, like right now I'm going through like the liquor order I put today to make sure like there are no holes in there, right? Because I put it in. Okay, this person, like I'm not.
Are you thinking about like the best way, like how is Michael Phillips gonna come off? I like rock bands and I like ramen. Are you going through the process, or you?
No idea.
Okay, good.
It's just free, I guess.
I hope so. So I like to talk about love just a little bit because most of the people that come in have like a really nice rooting and foundation in love, and it actually helps people. I mean, it helps me do a better job at work. It helps me do a better job at this, like the booze, all that shit, right?
Yeah.
And does it help you? I mean, is it nice to, you get off at 3 a.m. in the morning, you're working at Cowboy, let's say. You're still a Cowboy, yeah? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you come home, that's got to be a great feeling, right? To not have to trek it alone.
Yeah, it really is. And, when you've gone, being in a relationship, we've been together for probably about 9 years or so.
That's crazy.
And yeah. Like,
good crazy.
No, it's good. Like it's it's finally coming into like the second act or whatever, where it's
is this the tension and the climax here?
No, not at all. It's we're right in the middle, right before the break for the third, and
so it's coming.
It's kind of sort of stuff is happening, but there's like a lot of like moments of just soul grinding normalcy, everyday routine, which is not bad because I'm really I'm pretty type A to begin with.
Yeah.
I have my own life rut. I just have staples in life that I'm trying to like day to day. Like I'm not going to go and have the same coffee and pastry that I every goddamn day. Right. I got to do it. And that I fail most of the times.
Yeah.
But that's, it's good for me because I like to have that stability. Mm-hmm. I'm almost going to say a but I'm not going to say a but because there's no but. But
no, it's good. Like the stability is good, isn't it?
It's very
so you
good.
Have like maybe the shifts, maybe Cowboy, maybe the people. Yeah. Maybe that's the thing that's always fluctuating, but you always can go home and count on something.
Definitely.
It's going to be great, right?
No, it's really good, man. Like she's pulled me out of a couple of weird spaces before.
Yeah.
We first started dating right about a month and a half before my dad passed. And
when
so
was this?
she had
this year or last year.
This is 2006.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
okay.
January 2006.
Yeah.
And we'd just been seeing each other for probably 6-7 weeks or so, and then all this stuff happened. And
she was there for you, I guess.
Well, she was for a minute. She
not just physically. I mean, like emotionally supportive.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't even tell you the embarrassing stories of just not embarrassing, just you going through life. Like my dad just died, and it was like this. Yeah. This. It wasn't a long time coming, but he had been sick off and on for years, and it kind of finally
what was
happened.
It ultimately?
It was ultimately heart failure.
Really?
He, as a teenager, he's been a sickly human being his whole life. He was a teenager. He had kidney failure.
Oh, and had to as a teenager.
When he was in his late teens.
Did you get it?
He did. His sister, my aunt,
transplant.
Donated hers to him.
That's incredible.
And then further down the line, that one didn't take anymore, so he got another one, and then he had a third by my cousin. Who's the daughter of my aunt, obviously that originally donated to him. So he lived a little bit longer after that. But you got to like realize that all those things that you have when you have something like, I don't think people realize it. Things like renal failure are like just detrimental to your system.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because now you live on prescription drugs that you need to keep everything going, but you have one to cover this one to counteract that one. I mean, the guy was taking 12 different pills a day just to keep everything kind of normal. And he was a tough son of a bitch.
So he stuck around for a bit. It sounds
he did. Like. He really pushed it, man. So I'm really proud of that. But for a minute there, she was kind of when that happened. She was
that's
like,
not an easy situation.
No, she's like,
hey, and by the way, I know maybe we're just kind of dating. I know we haven't probably even had that conversation yet.
Yeah.
There's a personal loss in my life.
Yeah. So, I was out of town. I was up in Dallas. That's where they were living. Mm-hmm. And she was like, hey, you were supposed to call me. We were supposed to like kind of do something. What's going on? I was like, oh, I'm up in Dallas. Well, what are you in Dallas for? I was like, well, this happened.
Yeah.
And it's just like radio silence for a while. It's just like, I don't even know what to tell. like I can't even be close to you. Like,
yeah.
Like, and she was kind of hurt by that. But
wait, because she obviously wanted to move forward, right? She's like, you're a good guy. I think this is something promising.
She had a string of really shitty boyfriends. Some of them shitty as in bad people, and some of them just like, the word loser is kind of strong, but bad luck, like really bad luck guys.
Well, I mean, that happens a lot. I would say.
I guess she kind of felt kind of weird. She has her own weird superstitions, being like, "Fuck, I got another broken one." Like it's either I either have bad luck or I'm just like a curse to like every guy that I date.
What am I, a fucking like? What are the things that moths go to? Those are buzzers, right? Yeah, they're just flocking to me. What is the deal?
So for a minute there, she was kind of okay, a
little bit apprehensive.
Yeah. And she's like, let me know as soon as you get back into town. And of course, I was up there for about 48 hours, and I had called into my job to be like, hey, this sort of thing, something's happened, emergency. I'm not gonna be able to make it in for a little while. And at the time, like, oh, don't worry about it. We just closed down. I was working at this little shitty restaurant.
Great.
Yeah, it was good. But it was
this in Austin? Or?
It was in Austin.
Yeah. And, I'm actually curious as to what shitty little restaurant closed down on a whim. Bennigan's. It was Bennigan's. Michael
It was
worked
close
at
to a Bennigan's, and it was on a frontage road, so you're not far off.
There we go. Yeah,
same vibe, same tacky decor.
Was it, I remember hearing a while ago that there was just a sign posted on the window, and that was noticed to everybody. Do you remember that shit?
About what?
Yeah, like no, they didn't even talk to anybody. They just put a big.
Oh wow!
They bolted everything up, the front doors, put a flyer on the window, and that was it.
People just showed up to work to a...
Yeah, and like, oh, wait, I can't get in. What's going on here? So, at any rate, you're like, well, I'm kind of laid off now.
Yeah, I'm kind of sort of free in a way. I was broke to begin with, and I was like, well, fuck it anyways.
Yeah. Who cares,
I'll live off a credit card for a little while. This is kind of more important.
Sure.
And so I called her when I got back into town, like I said I would. And that's one of the craziest things when you go through like kind of a situation like that, where you go through like a very immediate family funeral.
Yeah.
You have a ton of family coming from out of town and friends and stuff like that. It's just busy and crazy as shit.
Yeah.
And it's
almost not set up for mourning. It's set up for logistics.
It's
right.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, well, we're going to get through this because we got to do the paperwork and we got to get the body in the ground, blah, blah, blah.
Well, yeah. And it's something that's really kind of, touching and beautiful to that is that when, all those people come together, for one very specific, cause and reason, that affects everybody's life, and especially somebody immediate's life, the immediate family as well.
Yeah.
That support net is, and when I look back at it, is fucking incredible.
Was your family close for the most part?
Yeah, very close. My dad, and that was another thing, is like my dad was sort of kind of a glue between a lot of different families and friends for years and years and years and decades, and people I hadn't talked to, old friends I hadn't seen since high school. Like, it's such a weird, it's such a surreal situation. People are getting off of planes that you haven't talked to or seen since you were a kid, and then the phone.
Do we know each other still?
Like,
the phone
you're
is
that constantly
guy,
ringing.
But you're like 50 pounds heavier than I remember.
It's fucking nuts.
It's crazy, yeah.
And it's just kind of like, it's really fascinating. And touching when you talk about kind of like love and family and all that stuff that
brought everybody close together.
It really did,
which is
like it was a very like a hallmark in all of our lives at some point, that this thing that could have happened several times, because he got sick several different times and was on the brink a couple of times it pulled through, that we all kind of inevitably knew was going to happen in our lifetime. Finally happened, and it's the strangest thing that everybody rallied around it, and everybody was strong enough for one another, and actually in the end of it, it was really beautiful to sit around and talk, just a lot of stories about stuff,
like recant the great tales, right?
Yeah, good tales, wonderful. And then catching up with old family and friends.
It's not always like that.
Yeah.
It's sometimes it becomes contentious. People think about the will. It becomes a very dark place. I know when my grandma passed, like that became a cash grab for the kids, It's terrible. And I'm just like, I worry. I personally worry, and I love my brother to death. But if my parents pass, or not if, but when they pass, are he and I going to just bitch about the money? Because sometimes it feels like that's all that really matters to him. And that to think that there's this pure event that happens, it brings people together and people are just remembering him and thinking about the good times and really becoming closer. That is a true, genuine experience. And that's wonderful to hear that happen.
Absolutely.
So let's presume you're in mourning, you're a good guy. Were you guys close?
Oh, very much.
Yeah.
As it is just growing up,
right.
As a kid,
this was in El Paso?
No, this is in Dallas.
Oh, okay.
Paso in Dallas. My parents moved away to Dallas a long time ago.
Got it. Okay.
And I mean, like being a kid, I bounced back and forth a little bit. Like, as a small child, like I was really attached to my mother, but as I kind of was coming of age, 7 through 14 is probably a good safe place because 15
totally
you hate your parents.
Formative. No, those early teens,
yeah.
You're feeling awkward.
Yeah.
There's some sprouting, if you will.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Yeah. He was there for me, and we did a lot of stuff.
Would you guys do I talked to a couple people. Music's a really big bonding factor. Was music a big bonding factor for you guys, or did you go out to parks, play catch? What does that look like?
We did, we did a lot of that stuff. Music, at least in the house, is funny because people be like, "How do you know a lot?" I mean,
because you seem like you're pretty good about music. Like you have
I love
a pretty
music.
good background in it. Yeah.
It was a thing that would happen whatever room one parent was in at the other. My mom is from the valley. She's Hispanic.
Yeah,
like it was like the oldies station. And my dad, like white guy from Upper Valley and shit like that. It was like classic rock.
Yeah,
and then I have a brother who's 6 years. Totally like 2 for Tuesdays. Led Zeppelin, like the whole thing. Like it was always playing in the garage.
Yeah. Would you say your mom was like a Neil Diamond guy and your dad was like a Steve Miller guy?
Maybe.
I don't know. I'm just trying to pan it.
Now you're making me think about what they kind of differ on.
There's that glossy, shiny pop,
Yeah.
And then there is that like dude with the fucking soul patch.
But it's kind of like, and it's really sweet. Like growing up and being in the car with them and like. They'll be playing, like a song will come on and like they'll perk up and be like, oh, this reminds me of this one boy I was in elementary school with. He liked me so much, he stole this record for me. And my mom made me give it back. And I was so mad at her. And she like carried that anger forever. Like she didn't like the kid very much.
What does it matter? It's about the record. You got a free record.
And then my dad would be like, same situation, driving the car, listening to the radio. And it's just like, man, I remember when I got this Sabbath album. Oh, it was great. We went down to the lake and hung out, had girlfriends there. I was like, smoked a lot of weed. He's like, no. My dad told me.
Was your mom like, oh, don't talk about that?
Yeah. She knew, but he was going to do it anyway.
Right. I mean, you find out things as you get older with your parents and stuff.
I caught him smoking weed one time when I was a teenager with his buddies.
How was that a shocking experience? Or like, dude, I already knew. Would you share it already?
When you're a kid, you figure some things out that you don't understand quite yet.
Right.
Like, you smell funny.
Yeah. Why does
dad
weird?
And his buddies, they go outside and like it's 20 degrees and they come inside and they smell like a campfire. They smell weird and they're both just like, I'm just like,
it's cool, man. You'll figure it out.
You don't know, but you know. Somewhere inside, you know.
Totally do. The point of differentiation. It's like, why is dad different?
Yeah.
But they're cool. They're ultra cool, right?
For sure.
Yeah. So we talk about music a little bit before, like playing, playing music. And did your dad play anything?
Yeah, my dad played, played guitar and a little bit of piano.
Yeah. Was he jamming in bands and stuff when he was older?
When he was younger, but he kind of just screwed around in his own time.
Yeah.
He was in the medical field, so he barely had time to like
sales, or was he a doctor?
No, he was a cardiologist.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So in the Valley still? Or in Dallas?
In El Paso.
Oh, El Paso.
He,
cool.
he did that for probably like 18 years.
No kidding.
Yeah. My brother was, my mom never really picked up any instruments, honestly. She tried to pick up the piano once and it was a disaster.
It's way too heavy to pick up piano.
Yeah,
man.
Definitely.
But
my brother, actually, he was like the gifted one in the family as far as music goes.
Younger or older?
Older. He's 6 years older than me.
Okay. How old is he?
He just turned 40 this year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. He was a cellist for about 18 years.
No way.
Yeah. He actually was the youngest member living in El Paso. I mean, judge it on its own merits or anything, but he was the youngest. He was 15 years old. He was playing with the El Paso Symphony Harmonic.
That's incredible.
He was just like kind of this oddball.
Like, it was a combination of your mom and dad kind of encouraging to do it, or he just took it up on his own?
He kind of took it up on his own. Like, they just supported him enough, and he just became obsessed with it.
No kidding.
And would practice like
Is that what he does
3 hours
now?
a day. No, not anymore. That's a funny, another funny story with all that stuff. My brother was a cellist for a very long time, and, good 18 years, and had enormous potential to go to college and all that good stuff.
Right.
And
Get like a scholarship for being a cellist and all that?
Everything, man. He had teachers and people wanted to sponsor him.
No way.
There was this like community of like mentors that like adored him.
That's amazing.
My brother, here's
so
the good part.
So what happened,
Michael? The butt, my brother in a what's the easiest way to say he was a high school dropout. He just gave up.
Was he really?
Yeah, he totally dropped out of high school. He became troubled for his own reasons, started drinking and smoking and being an asshole.
Listen to the Smiths. That drives so many goddamn people. It does, right? It drives people.
I don't know how you figure that out, but you hit it right on the fucking nose. Did I tell you that
Morrissey
before?
somehow encourages people to realize, like, man, the world is not what I wanted it to be.
Have I told you my brother listened to the?
No,
it's just obvious.
I'm just guessing.
You fucking nailed it. That's kind of crazy.
People in El Paso, from what I understand, and I love this, they love Depeche Mode, which I cannot be happier with, and they love the Smiths.
Yeah.
So he just is like, fuck all.
He
just gives it up.
He just kind of fucking rebelled for no good reason.
No shit.
All that good stuff.
Did he turn around, more or less?
Eventually.
Yeah.
There were some hard lessons in it, but man, he went off on his own. He started, he was too kind of convinced of his own prodigy and genius and just kind of fell off, kind of
much like Morrissey.
The tracks. Sure.
There is a parallel.
Fair enough. Maybe he did identify with a lot. He wasn't a vegan or anything, but he smoked and drank and was kind of developed himself a good drinking habit.
Yeah.
Though I could just call it straight up alcoholism.
Well,
yeah.
Potato.
It happens. Yeah. Well, I mean, he wasn't drinking. He wasn't going out spending money on good hooch. He was just stank buzzed constantly.
Good for him for being thorough.
Oh yeah. You see him walking out with a little bottle of water, and he's like, "Oh, hey, can I have some of that water?" You pick it up off the table and you drink it. You're like, "This is fucking vodka, dude." He's like, "Oh, that's my drink." Like he was.
So does he still drink?
No.
Or he stopped?
So
did he find the Lord and Savior Jesus Cristo? That happens a lot to people.
Sorta. Some people have to do it, I guess. Yeah. He dealt with something a little bit more traumatic. He was living in Arizona and going back and forth and just doing odd jobs and just getting really wasted and playing his cello late into the night and just being brilliant, brilliant or whatever.
Being brilliant.
No, he really was fucking talented, and
I bet. It sounds like it.
He went out at night. He didn't have a car anymore because he, having the issues that he had a couple DUIs on file. So,
right.
And his car fell apart. So he started riding his bike everywhere and going out on the town. He was living in Phoenix, I
used to live in Phoenix,
Tempe, Arizona.
Yeah, Tempe. Yeah.
Went out late at night, had a good time, rode his bike home, crossed the street against a red and got nailed by a truck.
Oh shit!
Like bad, like. What
happened?
He basically ended up in the front seat with the driver, as a matter of fact. They nailed the shit out of him and he practically died. He was in a coma for a good week, I think, or maybe more. Had a couple craniotomies. They cracked his head open because it was bleeding so bad. And, was more or less on his deathbed for a while, but somehow miraculously came back. Crazy, horrible, tragic irony of the whole thing is getting hit. He broke his collarbone and his clavicle and dislocated a ton of nerves to his fingering arm.
Oh no!
So basically, everything from his shoulder to his elbow doesn't work. Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
It doesn't work at all. It's all atrophy.
Yeah.
His hands and his forearm still work, but he cannot physically pick up his arm to his face.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So it's done. The cello career is done.
Just like that.
That is
everything he put
that's
towards.
Like a fable, right?
Right.
You have everything at your disposal. You have the skills. You have the physical capacity to do this.
Yeah.
And you don't leverage it.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it goes away.
Addiction's a crazy fucking thing, man.
That's
your
crazy,
priorities get really fucked up,
Yeah. Absolutely.
So,
but I imagine that was a sobering moment. I hope it was a sobering moment.
Yeah, no. Going through that all that trauma and stuff, I guess his body finally broke away from the chemical
itself,
addiction.
Wow.
So that was huge, but it being family, he moved back to Texas and moved back in with my parents. My dad was kind of sick at the time, and I wasn't gonna have my mom like take care of my dad and my fucked up brother.
Man, so much.
I had to like stick around, and I wanted to be there for my mom, especially. It's
totally
a lot
makes
of work.
Sense. Yeah, it's a whole lot of work.
So those first couple of years are pretty bad.
And you were still totally in El Paso, just you're putting your head down,
trying to go to college
work,
and do work and have a normal life and a girlfriend and all that shit like that.
Did it work out for you?
Eventually it did. I eventually moved away. He kind of got on his own feet for a while. I moved away, and
so is he doing well now?
He's fine now. He's great. He's married. He's normal. He's boring like the rest of us.
See, there you go.
Don't drink anymore.
It's a good alternative.
Yeah, not
being
interested.
A drunk.
Yeah, he finally kind of came to terms with all of that, or shed, or molted, whatever that fucking Morrissey teen angst and shit that he carried around the pit of his stomach for years and just poured booze on top of it.
Yeah.
I think it finally snapped out of him.
It.
Yeah.
Did it?
Well, I think it came out of him.
God, I don't want to discount it and say it's a phase for some of us, but the self-loathing and kind of the introspection and relating to Morrissey, he still to this day has not found his place in the world. He hasn't come out. I have on good authority that he's got a partner, has had one for a long time, but still, like, is Morrissey even happy with himself? Like, is he, or is he just the soldier for the cause of having this cognitive dissonance with oneself? I don't know.
You got to wonder. It just kind of at this point, it's got to be genuine. It's got to be coming from somewhere, or that he's just really good at waving a flag for a very long time.
He stays true to it. Still vegetarian. Still a prickly son of a bitch. Staunchly
vegan.
Vegetarian. Absolutely.
Yeah, there's so many stories.
Yeah, there's lots of
about this staunchyism being Morrissey.
There was I think I go back real quick. There was one of my roommates at one point here in Austin. He was at some garage sale and he bought this pedal. He's a guitar player. And he's like, "Oh, I found this pedal for like $10." And so, cool. Who was the guy? Was it family or something? He's like, "No, it was Morrissey's guitar tech." And I was like, Are you fucking with me? He's like, nah, he quit because he didn't much care for him, But
yeah,
it's
got a little piece of Morrissey with him.
Absolutely, always gets a piece of Morrissey with him.
Brushed it one time.
Yeah. So what? So you ended up obviously you're doing the God's work and watching your brother, making sure your dad's doing okay in El Paso. Yeah.
Yeah.
What eventually brought you to Austin?
Have you ever been to El Paso?
Yes.
Okay.
It's very windy.
Maybe a couple days out of the year for sure.
Yeah.
I just, I got a lot of dear friends and family out there. I just knew living there, I felt it was the small fishbowl syndrome. I was like, I was never going to be able to, spread out a little bit and learn from everybody else. It's very kind of very conservative town in the way that it's a good place to raise a family and a nice mellow simple life.
It's a good place, but it's not a good place to be ambitious. Maybe
I don't really think so.
Yeah,
it's like the tallest nail kind of gets hammered down. Like you get a lot of the people don't like heavy ambition out there. Yeah, you got to belong to the group. It's a different it's a different community. It's a group community where everybody kind of does all on the same, and that's cool. And somebody kind of stands a little bit more, it's kind of like they either love you or hate you for it. And I guess that's a sort of human nature in a way. But
I suppose, yeah.
But and that too is kind of like I wanted to be able to get out of there because I already culturally felt like stagnated. Like I knew what was gonna. I could sort of predict the future, what I was gonna do.
Yeah. What was it looking like? If you stayed there, what were you gonna do?
End up shacking up and having a couple of puppies. Yeah. And I love that idea. I'm not against it. I'm kind of stony up front, but deep down I'm a sappy romantic son of a bitch. Like the wedding yesterday. It's why I don't go to weddings and stuff like that.
It's hard.
One, I can't be on all the time.
Yeah.
You have to be, and you have to run into people and like have something to say, and I have nothing today.
Right.
You know, and then, and two is like, you know, the truth is like, I see some event like, you know, David and Joe's wedding yesterday, and I'm just like, I'm cool, man. This is good. It's nice. Oh no, it's beautiful sweat ceremony.
I mean, so here.
Oh, that's yeah.
You're absolutely right. Not only was it for any wedding, an amazing, beautiful wedding in which two people that have wonderful personalities obviously complement each other. Mm-hmm. That's already the case, right? But not only that, but for both of them to keep with it and being able to legislatively overcome the boundaries that Texas set forth, right? To see it through and be able to be recognized for something that is a union that's so simple. Love is simple, man. I mean, it's complicated being in love, but love itself is very simple. And to watch these two people just be able to love each other and be recognized, that is so profound and so wonderful, and could not have happened to better people. Bill did just a wonderfully simple but yet elegant presentation of love and the ceremony, and I loved it, man. It was good, and so
it punched me in the gut, man. That's right. It really punched me in the gut.
And there was people, you know, like, I'm not gonna say who it was, but there was some outpouring of emotion, and for me, I just couldn't wipe the fucking smirk off my face. Yeah. I was so happy for them both. You know, they're just wonderful people, and it was great to share that moment with them.
Yeah,
you know, and that's great. And so it's good to hear that somehow there's this duality with you, Michael. That you know, family is a great thing. Having kids, being in love. I feel like sometimes there's a hardness to being in the industry. You play hard, you work long hours, you're smoking to deal with things, you're drinking to deal with things, but at the center of it, at the core of it, we all really just want that love and we want that connection.
What else is there, you know?
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, like everything, you get fired, the world burdens down. What are you going to do in those final moments? You're going to sit there and you're going to embrace the person that you love. And that's it. That's all that matters. It's reduced to that moment. And that's it, you know? And we can say, well, I want to be successful, I want to be rich and all this shit, but really it doesn't matter. And some people are just fighting that. It's chasing them, that urge to be loved and to love somebody. And, you know, this is not supposed to be some kind of
You kind of come touching back on the Smiths again.
Right. I'm Jesus. Yeah.
I'm thinking of double-decker buses right now.
Shoplifters of the world unite, man.
Double-decker buses crashing. Shit, man.
So you made your way to Austin. What was the first gig you had here in town?
What did I do? Actually, yeah, I worked at a small restaurant that closed down. I mean, when my dad died, it was a small little kind of part-time thing. Yeah. I interviewed, like, I showed up to Austin. I had a place to stay, and then like the day before I left, I was sort of like, hey guys, so and so, blah blah blah, let's see you, I should be in town by 4:00. And they go like, you know, that room, our friend might not be leaving to Philadelphia for another month. I might be. I was like, fuck off. So I just hung up.
God damn it.
I called an old high school friend who lived here, excuse me.
That's one of the best perks of this, is that we get to drink whiskey while we're doing it.
Yeah.
And I hold my mouth to the side when I'm, so eloquently burping.
Yeah.
But so the first place, the first couch, whatever, falls through.
Yeah.
And then you eventually lock in, and you have a high school friend or something.
I found an old friend from high school. We were really tight in high school. I hadn't seen him since. It's been years and years. And just kind of was sort of like, hey man, what are you doing tonight? Like, I'm in Austin. Yeah. By any way, do you know anybody who needs a roommate? And, you know, he's like, oh, actually, I'm about to, you know, and I was
good.
Oh, do tell, you know, I'm like, I had a feeling, you know, I was like,
high school friend.
Yeah. Well, you know, I was thinking, and yada, yada, yada.
So it worked out.
Yeah, it totally worked out. shitty roommate, and
that ended up being Matthew McConaughey. Right?
It did, yes.
Your roommate.
Yes, those are my bongos, by the way. They didn't fucking stole, son of a bitch.
So what was the first, like, so you're doing service, like,
yeah.
When you were in El Paso, were you doing food service stuff, or were you working different places?
Totally. I mean, I had my like odd jobs when I was, a teenager,
right.
and I ended up landing a way to get at a small cafe that was very, very popular in El Paso. And it was basically, I obviously never waited a table in my fucking life.
Yeah.
But my mom knew the owner, and it was sort of like, yeah, okay, these are the hours, and the hours were perfectly what I was trying to deal with. It was basically a daytime cafe.
Yeah.
But I was basically the entire front of the house. I was the host, the busser, and the waiter. And there was like,
did you put on a different hat? Like, no, put on the mustache for one. Hello.
I didn't have fucking time, dude. That place would fill.
Packed. Was it packed?
Up. It was 20 tables, and I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off. And
right.
Like, I have, like they have those weed nightmares that everybody has that's ever worked in the industry, where you wake up just going like, oh, no, we're out of orange juice. And like your girlfriend or boyfriend's like, oh, what the fuck are you talking about? You're like, just
go get some orange juice.
You're having the orange juice nightmare again? Yes, we're out of, oh God, that orange sucked, man. It's traumatizing.
But was it defining? Because I imagine you can't do that. You can't endure that stuff without learning a bit from it.
I learned a shit ton. Yeah. I also learned that I like being very busy. Like I had mentioned before, I'm pretty type A multitasker. Mm-hmm. I got really good at it really quickly, and I started making money and having a good time. And then I switched over to another restaurant and started. One day, basically, one of the bartenders got fired that day. I was opening server staff, and the head bartender walked in, went to the office, heard some arguing, and then he walked out and he drove off.
Yeah.
And the owner, proprietor rather, walked out and he just kind of looks at me. He's like, oh, you know how to pour a beer? I'm just like, yeah, of course. Yeah. All right, well, you're bartending today.
Phillips.
Get in there. Get in there. Like, get off the bench.
Kid. Yeah.
And that was pretty much the beginning of the kind of professional bar career.
Was it interesting? I mean, did you think about flavors and combining flavors? Do you think about spirits at that point, or was it just kind of starting to form?
Oh, back then nobody gave a shit. It was like
no one cared.
Jack and Coke and Bud Light.
Right.
And, it was the dark ages still.
The dark ages.
The powdered margarita mix. And the frozen margarita machines
snorting
and
that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of where I came through.
But Austin, maybe not promised, but it offered an alternate. I mean, fucking Austin's an oasis, right? So obviously, why not come to Austin? Mm-hmm. So what was your first? You worked at the spot that just without any notice laid you off essentially. Mm-hmm. Were you thinking about going back to El Paso at that point? Were you saying, well, I got to stay in Austin. I'm here now. What am I going to do?
I just kind of stuck it out.
Yeah.
I was already kind of digging my tiny little trench already. I was like, I already started
digging your feet in the ground.
Yeah, I just moved to a new town. I finally have like a small network of friends that I dig, and like
I've got the haircut that I like.
Yeah, man. Like people are like, nobody recognizes me when I go back to El Paso. Like, what? You changed, man. Like your hair is like parted differently.
What's the deal? You've been listening to Morrissey, man?
Yeah, dude. No, I don't. Fuck. I mean, at night in the dark, maybe, but no, I don't drive around listening to Morrissey
These tears
anymore.
didn't start themselves.
Yeah, dude.
So, what was the first gig that really made you think, well, alcohol is a legitimate quality thing? It's not just some powder somewhere that people are getting fucked up on.
Some powder that people are getting fucked up on.
Well, sorry. I'm still, sorry. Yeah, no, I was like,
it's El Paso.
I think there's lots of drugs passing through. No, but there's bound to be that moment where he said, mixology, God forbid the term, is a thing. Mm-hmm. Like, where did that start to take force for you?
I mean, I'm not gonna totally validate this, but my dad's side of the family, I was pretty much there were two. A couple of siblings, and then me. And so like we do this family outings, July 4th barbecues, blah, blah, blah. My aunt lives in this huge ranch out in like, in Canyon, Texas. It's right by the New Mexico border. Mm-hmm. And we go out there, for barbecues and shit like that. And I'm just the absolute youngest person there. Like by decades probably.
Oh wow.
So I'm kind of alone in that situation, but it's cool.
You gotta do something, right?
Yeah.
You gotta do
so there's a swimming pool. And I get to swim all day and eat hot dogs and shit.
Yeah.
And then I can have as many sodas as I want.
Sure.
And those rare days, like how many Dr. Peppers have you had? Like 4? Like, okay, that's fine. You know, like, it's a special
6.
occasion. But you know, I'm the youngest. I became the fucking beer and drink fetcher. Yeah. You know what I mean? As you are as a kid.
Oh yeah.
You know, and at some point, my aunt had a dry and wet bar. It was a really dope house she had. And at some point, you know, Grandpa gets too fucked up and he can't get out of his seat. He's like, oh, hey, rattles the glass. Hey, go make me another old fashioned. You know what I mean? And like double cherries, you know?
No kidding. No shit.
They taught me how to make old fashions and martinis.
You were the youngest one there, the smallest one there. About what, 8, 9?
Yeah, eight, between 8 and 10 years old.
It's insane. So
I was making old fashions and martinis for my grandfather.
You should be able to make an insanely tasty martini and old fashioned with all the
now I can. I mean, the way they did it back then is a little different now.
Yeah.
Like I would say we have standards now, but
right.
you know, as far as drinking culture has evolved, you know, we don't muddle a bunch of cherries and oranges and top it with club soda anymore. But that's like how they pounded it down back in the day.
Man, that's a great experience though. In a sense, like looking back at it, seems like a pretty clear calling, you know?
Right?
Either that or you're going to be a butler, but butlers aren't that big now, you know?
No, man. Butlers get paid better. That's for fucking sure.
That's a good point.
No, I mean, yeah, they just kind of, you know, to be honest with you, like it's just being bored and a kid and being like, oh, hey, who needs another thing? You know, I was like, you know, honestly, I've thought about this many times. Like, yeah, I've fucking been making drinks and bartending since I was a fucking child. I'm 34 years old now.
But it's perfect. It's a perfect background.
I guess so. It worked out, I guess.
Was there a moment where you were making an old fashioned or martini? You're like, everything's come full circle, man. 10 years. What? No, it's even more than 10 years, but that it all became clear.
It wasn't like an epiphany moment.
I was trying to make it dramatic from like Steven Spielberg framing the scene.
I should have paused a little longer. Sorry.
Ding, ding. There's like bright little shining things in your eyes.
It just became, it just felt like a rhythm of life at that point.
Yeah.
I kind of was like, this is something I'm really fond of. Yeah. And they get paid to do it.
When did you end up at Cowboy?
When?
Yeah.
It's been about 3 years. I've been here a long fucking time for industry job.
3 years is pretty good.
It's a long time. But I overlapped from Highball over to Midnight Cowboy.
Oh, you were at Highball too?
Mm-hmm.
The one before they redesigned it on Lamar?
Yeah, the old originally. I was the head bartender there as well.
Those old fashions with the Buffalo Trace. Mm-hmm. That was still one of my favorite drinks.
Yeah.
Quickly, my business partner and I was talking to Lydia about this the other night. The original Highball, great bar setup, cool lanes and all this. It's really nice now too. We'd sit at the bar and we'd say, man, if only someday I knew the guy that like served these drinks and that stocked this bar. Like maybe someday our gin will be at that bar. So Highball is actually a very, very formative place for us. Mm-hmm. And so you were over there in that original.
Same as well. Yeah. I learned a lot there.
It was a great spot, man.
Yeah.
It still is a great spot. But
it was one of the, I would say like, and that was shit.
That's a while ago now.
6 years ago when I started there. 7 years when I started.
Wow.
It was about 2009. It was beginning of 2010.
Getting it entrenched in the draft house culture, right?
Yeah. Well, the thing back then at Highball is at least like we were kind of a separate entity.
Oh, really?
Like,
okay.
yeah, we lived under the
parent,
the umbrella of the Alamo Corporation or LLC, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But excuse me, it's gonna be a little bit of that.
It's that beer,
but
man.
we were left to I had a lot of beer today. We kind of were left to our own kind of devices. It's one of those kind of weird league brainchilds, like just go for it.
Yeah.
It was doing fine for itself, and that's kind of the way it's been with Cowboy for a long time.
Yeah,
like we were kind of left to our own devices.
Yeah,
for a long time.
Was that your first kind of big, nice? Because Alamo, wonderful experience for movies, but also like doing a great job with 400 Rabbits, Highball, all that stuff. Was that kind of the first big time gig, if I would call it that, where there's some money behind the company, they're giving you some freedom?
Totally, yeah, and just showing up there. Our bar manager at the time was this guy Ryan Shabby, who's actually the head. I guess he's the general manager now at the South Lamar store. He's been with the company forever.
Yeah.
But he jumped over when Highball got open, and he got involved with that, and he became the bar manager almost immediately, and started kind of like riffing on stuff that he was learning from other bars, from other cities and books and stuff. He was doing his own research, and I was kind of at a point where I was at my other job, and I was like fucking tired of it, same old shit. And I called his wife and been like, hey, does your husband by chance need anybody? Like, I fucking hate my life.
How'd you meet him then? How'd you know him?
I worked for his wife actually at another restaurant.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I just called her and she's like, oh yeah, let me, and then she just vouched for me.
Made it happen.
And
That's
I just
awesome.
showed up and he was like, yeah, cool. So this is what we do. And I thought I was having an interview, but he was just kind of like feeling me out. He's like, cool, well, I'll see you next week. And I was like, okay.
What does that mean?
I got a job.
Yeah. Was that was it, right?
And then like, I kind of was like, okay, well, sure. And he just kind of did that, like, kind of like, old school, welcome aboard. And he like shook my hand real sternly. And I was like, yes, sir.
Young man, welcome to the staff, young man.
Totally, yeah. But that was great, man. They gave me a chance. I'm forever kind of indebted to them for just giving me a chance to do that, because I wouldn't say I wouldn't have ever gone that kind of like heavier mixology route. Maybe I might have ended up in brewing or something, which may or may I should not have done.
So where do you find yourself? Do you find yourself as this construction guy that wants to make a complicated cocktail with lots of ingredients? Are you a pleaser, like John or Paul?
Yeah.
Like where do you find yourself? Like, what's your philosophy on cocktails in general?
As far as cocktails and hospitality,
yeah.
I mean, at the beginning and end of the day, it's about it's about your guest experience.
Mm-hmm.
Really, I love being able to have that leeway to do a lot of experimenting, and there's just a wealth of knowledge out there and colleagues that I'm meeting all the time that I've never I feel good about where I'm at and where I've come and all the stuff I've worked up for. But I've never really felt, had a moment where I'm like, yeah, I got this.
Yeah.
I got this game.
Because you can never stop learning.
No, you can't.
And you never can feel too comfortable. That's what happens when people get, like, everybody in Goodfellas felt really comfortable before they got offed. Mm-hmm. So don't ever feel too comfortable.
No.
Because there's someone just around the corner ready to fucking whack you. I mean, seriously. Maybe metaphorically, but just there's always that guy that's itching to just be the next you.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit different for me behind the scenes, but I can't imagine in the bar world, man.
It's a good place, but the one good thing about I feel at least about my industry that I understand, I'm sure it can probably apply to a lot of other industries and jobs, is going in every day and trying to have not walking out with a prize, but you go in every day and you really nail down everything you learned from the week before, and you really put a lot of focus and effort towards that. And you open strong and you finish strong every time, and then you kind of look back on it every day, not every single day, but kind of like, okay, yeah, I remember I fucked this up this day, but I also did really good at all this other stuff. But you plug along for a really long time, and one day you kind of look back on all that effort and time that you put into it, and you go, oh shit, like I know how to do all this shit. I know all of these people. I go to other cities and I don't ever go into another bar to like check it out and have a good time and be like, oh, by the way, I'm from Midnight Cowboy, Austin, Texas. I'm like, oh, that bar's amazing. I never say anything. Like, people,
you don't have to.
People drag it out of me. They're like, so what do you do? I'm just like, oh, I'm just a bartender.
That's right.
And they go, oh, what do you where?
You seem special,
Austin,
young man.
I'm just like, no, I'm in Austin. What bar is it? Midnight? I was like, a Midnight Cowboy. Like, I'm still not comfortable.
You're stuttering.
Like, I don't feel like that person, and I never have, and I probably never will.
You're a humble guy.
I guess so.
That's somewhat rare for some of the folks.
Tell me about it.
They want to be
celebrities.
Big. They want to be fancy. Actually, how do you feel about that? That there are many people that don't want to put any dues in before they just open a bar up, and they think they're capable of doing it.
They haven't earned their place in the industry. They've maybe earned their place as a salesperson, and that's fine. But that's fine for you. But you were never really a bartender.
Yeah.
You never really set a really mega foundation within the industry on that side of the bar.
Yeah. So you think it's I think it is. I mean, it's like apprenticeship. You put in your hours, you become an expert, and then you become master plumber, master cobbler, all these things, master electrician.
I've had some employees in the past, excuse me.
No. It's fine.
You know, and I'm humbled and embarrassed to say these sort of things that, you know, I guess that is part of my nature. Go, hey, can I ask you, would you feel weird if I asked to like apprentice under you? And I go, oh, who the fuck am I? And they're like, well, I think you know more than I do, so maybe I'll give it a try. And I go, okay, I'm flattered.
Yeah.
And yes, of course, I'll teach you whatever I can.
Sure.
But it's only happened about this happened 2 times. But ask, you know, why don't you come back to me and tell me your goals of what you hope to get out of this.
Yeah.
And then we'll take it from there.
Does that help you?
Yeah, well, I want to know what areas to sort of focus on. Because if I'm not a very good, I was always a good worker and a
Maybe
good
not a
leader,
good
but
teacher?
I was always a shitty trainer because everything is important to me.
Yeah.
Like every detail is important to me. And I never figured out a systematic way to teach people how to, you know, on Monday we're going to do this and go from broad strokes to finer strokes. And like, by, you know, someday they'll be like, oh, I noticed that, you know, whatever the fuck, small detail. I'm like, look at you, got a fucking eye now.
Are you getting better with it now?
With me training?
Yeah, being able to train.
I'm trying. I have to be. I'm general manager of the goddamn place
now.
Yeah,
what are you going to do now?
Like
the crown is on your head, man.
Yeah, dude. I just go in every day. Okay. And I have, and it's interesting to be into that position now where I have a very positive attitude every day. I get cranky at times, but I'm not half as mad as I was when you're the head bartender. You're angry at everybody because not everybody's, you know, everybody's slacking off. And that's, you know, John Eads' job now. We put him into that position. He's just like, son of a bitch, I need a cigarette. You know, it's like, oh, I used to be like that. I know what it's like. But you know, it gets better, man. It gets better. Don't worry about it.
It gets better.
It gets better. Totally, you got to hang in there.
But you still love it. Like, do you like do you like operating in this capacity as a GM?
Totally.
Yeah. Did you, was it when Brian left?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very wonderful. I mean, how did that feel to like replace the tall, gentle giant? I'm going to call him the gentle giant here.
Dude, I was like, you know, I tell everybody, it's like, look, I can't, you know, we're very different human beings and have very different managerial qualities. I'm sure as fuck not going to be as funny as that guy because that guy has his golden moments and they happen often. I just have kind of general, like,
I don't know if you can pull a beard off the same
bullshit.
way either.
No way. That's for damn sure. But yeah, man, he was a fun guy. He was really funny.
Yeah.
Big heart, exceptionally patient.
Sure.
And
that was one of those things where it's like, I don't know that I can make you mad.
I saw him get mad once.
That's right. But like what, after
it was
hundreds of days?
It was for about 5 seconds too.
Yeah.
Like I think
the patience of a god in that guy, right?
But he almost had like this kind of like old man reaction to it. I think I left a screw like a cap off of something and he picked it up and it spilled anywhere and it spilled everywhere, you know, kind of like the old like, you know, pepper trick or whatever. He's like, and it kind of spilled everywhere and he was like, God damn it. And I was like, oh, sorry, dude, that was me. He's just like,
cool.
He's like, got a little salt on me. And that was it. I was like, I just saw Brian get mad. You missed it.
Jesus.
He said, God damn it.
It's
like
the
genuinely.
guy that never flinches in the contest.
Like I guess he metabolizes it so fast. Me, I just have like a stomach ache for like an hour. I'm just like, son of a bitch.
How do you feel like, so Midnight Cowboy, which is shit, man, it's a really unique experience for drinking, and you guys have the cart, lots of good spirits, lots of good minds. How's the clientele there? It's been a big mixed bag for me when I've been there.
It's all over the map.
Yeah.
Mostly good, but you know, we're also in the middle of downtown tourist trap. Right. You know, it's gonna kind of, you got people who are going out for an experience sometimes, and you have a lot of people who are going out to you know,
it's almost
be
like
a tourist, you know, and have a good time.
It's a way to, it's a one-upsmanship to it in a sense. Where it's like, dude, I know this place, right? It's like in the midst of all this chaos.
There was a little Thrillist article that came out along. Did you know what I'm talking about?
I've seen many Thrillist articles about y'all. Yeah.
There was the one of the last ones that says, it was, what does your favorite Austin bar say about you, kind of thing.
Okay.
And we kind of was going down the list of all of them. There's a few of them that I frequent, and I was like, that's pretty good stuff. Yeah, and none of it was mean, or it was just sort of like, just kind of like a little rib jab, like,
right.
we all live here and we all love these places.
Yeah.
But the one that came to us was ours. I didn't know we were on the list, but I just kind of was like, oh, look, we're on here. And I was like, oh, drum roll, what's going to say, about us? Because, people, with sort of speakeasy mixology type places have a love or hate for them.
Oh, yeah.
It's just the way it's going to be. But he said, it's like, what did it say about Midnight Cowboy? It says, you claim you claimed this is your favorite bar in Austin of all time, but odds are you could probably never find it again. Like, you've been there once and you'll probably never find it again.
That's
or some
incredible.
Shit like that. I was like,
my favorite part about Midnight Cowboy, not to discount the amazing work being done, is that Jack Burton's on the goddamn
he is
up front,
and he always will be as long as I'm there.
One of the greatest characters of all time, one of the greatest men of all time, Kurt Russell. Just to say. So what do you get? I think that. Was it maybe the complication of doing cocktails and stuff that drew you to mezcal? Because you ended up working at Tobola, which is the premier experience, if you will, for a mezcal flight or a mescaleria kind of experience at top of Whistler.
Honestly, I can have an honest pinpoint of when I had a moment of like
when it happened.
When I was like, there's a thing when you. With mezcal specifically, but there's a thing that happens for a lot of people that, drinking spirits or eating food or just kind of like those basic things in life where you're tasting and smelling things, and especially with smell has, like a lot of power into your past and your memories. It's
stronger than taste.
It's intense.
Yeah.
And those two things kind of, obviously get locked together. But with mezcal, I always kind of dug. I was like, yeah, that's kind of crazy and whatever, I never really gave it, I gave it a chance, but I was never I never had like this moment where I'm like, oh,
this is profound.
Yes. Like just,
yeah.
Shh.
Sure. I'm tasting.
You're ruining my taste right now. Stop talking. No, this is serious.
Yeah.
Do you taste that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually it was, I was working at Whistler's and they had not quite opened the mezcal bar, but Judah was in town.
Oh yeah,
and he brought a bunch of stuff in, and he and Matt Daniels came in, and we're sitting there, and I showed up late because I was always late. That was like my second job, and Cesar hated me for it. I always snuck into meetings, and I sat down with Matt Daniels, and we're buds, so we're just kind of like, Judah's talking and doing the thing. Like I'm already missing all the stories, but I've heard a good chunk of them, and he's a very entertaining human being.
For sure, he's a surfer. For
God's sakes. Dude, he's a cool dude.
He's a cool guy.
He's a very free spirit. That's for sure.
For sure.
So he's talking to all of them, and I'm just kind of off in the corner with me and Matt, and Matt's like, we're just kind of like being assholes, like telling fart jokes or whatever.
Well, that's what Matt's about.
Yeah, for sure, man. That's what I love him.
Matt from Victory Distribution, just as an aside.
Yes. Good stock, man.
It's great.
And he just starts grabbing all the mezcal bottles. He starts like pouring them, and he's like, "Oh yeah, this is this." And we're just like, "Hey, what are you doing there?" And we're just kind of like shit talking really quietly in the corner while Judah's talking, and everybody's like, enthralled in his stories. And I was like, I'm obviously missed the bus, and that's good, yeah. Oh, that's really great, yeah, it's beautiful,
yeah.
And he poured one. It was the first ensemble.
What was the blend on that one?
It was Espadín Coyote and Cerudo.
In clay or in copper?
I want to say clay.
I think it's clay
because they were the first run.
Tio Reyes, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's still some bottles in New York.
Yeah,
everybody.
I have a bottle of it jammed in the back of my cellar wherever it is because I don't want to touch it for a long time.
Exactly.
It was one of those moments. I drank it and it just like stopped me in my tracks. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
This is better than it should be.
Like I honestly felt something like in my heart move.
Right.
I was like, I don't. And I kept like looking at it, like if I put it up to the sun, and it's like I couldn't.
This is clear. This could be water.
It was a mystery. I was just totally mystified by it.
Enchanting.
Totally, and I was like, "Holy shit!" Like, I like whiskey and gin and spirits like as much as the next person. I have my favorites and stuff.
But
this mezcal changed my life.
Yeah, it does.
Plucked a heartstring.
It does. We went. I finally, when we got to go to Oaxaca last year, got to spend some time on Acalinos Palenque, understanding fermentation. Got to work through a batch with Judah, proofing, all this stuff. And the thing is, like, there's something about mezcal, and I love that it becomes this recurring thing at this conversation. But there's something so pure and so beautiful about it that is not captured. I love bourbon, absolutely love it. but there's something about it that is slightly tainted because you have to give time's an element. The barrels are an element. These kind of foreign entities that you bring into the spirit to kind of coax some flavor out of it. But mezcal is not like that. It is nature fermented, distilled. Yes. It is a pure expression of the terroir. Yes. And that's a wonderful, wonderful thing.
Yeah.
And the fact that Judah somehow has like this insane ability to pull out the best possible flavors from these plants. It's just mind-boggling. So was that... I love Tobalá. I love Tobalá. I had some great private... There, you guys had lots of private events. Tried some amazing, amazing mezcals there. Even did some trades, all these cool things. Did you feel like that was a great platform for you to introduce the layman, if you will, to mezcal? Because it's like the perfect opportunity. Because people go up there, they don't know what to expect necessarily.
Yeah, no, it really is. And I do have to note and thank, Scranton and Cesar, Matt at Whistler's for giving me the chance. And I don't know what they saw in me for doing to do that, but they always kind of gave me, like, me and my buddy Ben Harris, who doesn't live here anymore. He moved back to Seattle, but he was there at the same time as well.
Okay.
Always gave us the opportunities to work those rooms. Like we earned that room.
Yeah.
And we didn't earn it just by just plain hard work or being what do you call it, seniority or anything like that. Right, we had a genuine kind of passion for the product, and they noticed that off the bat. Like we were going out all the time. I was going to bars like, Condesa, for happy hour where I can
get mezcal there,
get a little break, on the price, but go over there and I would get in with the bartenders. I'm like, can I just, you can leave the bottle there. I just want to read everything off. And I would just take notes. I'm like, okay, this value.
No, you're erudite when it comes down to mezcal.
Yeah. It's kind of like, I want to know every detail. I know you're chasing the dragon if you're trying to document every single one that you can. Tough, yeah. It's ridiculous, but I was trying in my own way to rationalize and figure out what I was tasting, where it was from, and the blends.
So intriguing.
And it's,
why not?
It's fascination.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fascinating.
You see a Monet in life size, and you say, what the fuck was that guy thinking? Where was he? Where does he get the inspiration for something like that? And there's mezcal that is so deep and so rich that it extends past our ability to taste it. There's something far, far more deep about it than that. And you just... why not learn about it? You it's almost like you have to know where it came from. That was the thing for us when we tasted this particular plant, right? Like, well, what does this plant look like? Like, where does this grow? This is insane. This is such a sensory kind of experience with this.
I want to be on the land and smell and taste the air that it grows around.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to I'm grappling with mystique, and I can't let go. And it doesn't matter. Even if I made it myself, I would still never let go.
Right.
It's like,
dude, even when I have had the opportunity to work with plants that they work, I mean, it's still mystifying. It's like never really truly getting to understand David Bowie. You never will. There's too many facets to it, and it's went on for too long. Yeah. And these plants, you talk about Tepestate living up to 22 years, 25 years. They have seen so many seasons that I can't begin to grasp what that feels like. And that spirit tastes like history, right?
I was about to, you pulled it right out of my mouth. It's history, and it's history, and it's fleeting at the same time. Right. And that's the tragic beauty of it as well. Right. And,
Marty McFly syndrome, man.
Yeah, I mean, being able to work that room is always, it's the best gig I've probably ever had. I get to play my own records.
You're the maestro,
and you're you rule the fucking room. You rule. I have a potty mouth. I apologize.
No, it's fine.
But you rule the room, and everything works to your pace and your rhythm, whether people like it or not, because.
Obviously, you're the director. You're setting the scene. You're filming it. You're pacing it. All of that.
People have to and for the most part, a lot of them adjust to your pace of things, because every time, it doesn't matter how full the room is or how empty it is. I'm working at the same pace with people. I'm getting some face to face, and I'm giving them, I'm feeling out what they know or don't know, and I'm trying to give them one little chunk of this. When you leave, you will have this piece of knowledge, and when you come back next time, you'll have 2.
Yeah.
And then 3.
And
that's
maybe
how I learned,
You build that ambition or that inertia to learn about it on your own too.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think mezcal is doomed? Not the art form itself, but just surely because
as far as sustainability, it's endangered already.
Some really big problems.
It's with the momentum that it's had in the last 2 years,
which is still a minority in the category too.
It really is, and it's
constant threat of
maybe it's just extinction. My fear too. Like I can imagine that it's gotta be. And
I'm scared of that as well.
The anxiety of it is more than I can bear a little bit. Yeah. So maybe I should start stockpiling all my favorites all over again.
That's what I do.
And
That's
wait
what
for
I do
the
with
apocalypse.
Baseball cards. That's what I do with mezcal bottles, man.
Yeah.
But a brief tangent. We had a lot of mezcal that we could have chose from to taste in this particular session, but we kept it American and we kept it hearty.
Here's the other truth about that. It's like if you started breaking out the mezcal, we might be here all night. And I know sometimes times of the essence.
I've still got my eye on. I'm trying to locate this bottle of Araqueño from the Real Minero.
Oh,
I found one, and it's one of the greatest mezcals I've ever tried. It's kind of like a white whale, but William, who works at that stuff, is important. He's helping me, so perhaps I'll finally get a bottle. Get him in here to share that. That would be an amazing milestone. But I appreciate the fact that you picked the Old Forester Bottled in Bond 1897, which I don't know too much about it. Obviously, the Old Forester mash bill, but I think it's 6 years. The things I'm reading, it's like anywhere from 5 to 8 years. Does that sound about right? But it's an incredible bourbon for Bottled in Bond. It's really rich, really nice.
It's hearty as fuck, I'll tell you.
Yeah,
and it's I don't know. It's kind of like it's got this kind of big kind of like a mechanic that sings opera in his off time kind of thing. It's
Billy
like
Joel.
It's it's
Dude,
rough.
Everything relates. Bourbon is Billy Joel. I've never realized that until now, but it is like the guy, the mechanic, aiming for the stars, aiming for the uptown girl.
Yeah,
hearty, sweet, kernely, deep.
Yeah,
bitter, all of it, right?
Yeah.
What do you think about this?
It's lovely.
It's good stuff, right?
Yeah.
You say you guys took a flask of it that one? Not a bad.
We knocked that out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
We sat at the track and watched 4 small storms pass through, and the day got canceled. But we were there and drinking $10 beers, at a track. What do you expect? And he goes, "Oh," hands it over. It's like, "You motherfucker! What is this? Oh, God damn it." So we just stuck it out. And it's one of those things that brings people together, man. It's like we're sitting there, we're kind of stranded in a sense. And
you absolutely stranded.
We're drinking good bourbon and fucking reminiscing at an F1 racetrack.
Yeah.
The place was desolate. There was 20 people there,
Yeah.
in the stands plus us. And we just watched fucking Austin get clobbered by 2 small tropical storms. And it was kind of like, this is, even though we're not here, we didn't get to watch racing, which I was like, I'm so pumped up. We eventually did watch some practice runs a lot later.
Right.
We didn't get to watch the F1 cars. It's like, that's the primo shit. I was like, oh God. And we were watching them tune up, just woo, 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 like in the garage. I'm like, and he and I were just like, dude, this is going to be amazing. Like, we're so pumped up, like a couple of kids. And it didn't happen. And we're like, well, fuck. We had, what are we going to do now? We're going to go back to Austin and sit in a bar. Well, we can't go anywhere.
You'll get 2 hours, I hear. The bus is like delayed.
Everything.
Forever, yeah.
We got there at 2 and sat in the stands for 3 hours and just drank and watched the storm.
Oh, man.
And just like caught up.
Yeah.
Like,
you and Boley, right?
Me and Jeff Boley, yeah.
Looking forward to talking to him tomorrow, too.
Are you?
Yeah, it'll be great. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll start playing some guitar, too.
Oh, yeah. Don't threaten him with a good time.
Don't threaten him with a good time.
Oh, you'll get stuck with him. He's my how do you say? He's my karaoke duo.
That's brilliant.
My buddy.
Oh, man.
You go out to he's one of those few people that we've always had like a genuine respect and understanding of each other's music, even though we kind of like a lot of the same shit.
Right.
But when that certain song comes on, and he and I are just like look at each other from across the room and just like hold our hands up to each other. It's like, yes,
you're out somehow. Yes. Let's do this.
And we would do that. We'd go to karaoke and we both, like whatever song come on, it's usually a Stone song. He and I are
Right.
kind of just into Stones in general. And like we both just snag the mics out of whoever's hands it is and just fucking go at it.
That's so good.
We kind of start rubbing shoulder blades like David Bowie and Mick Jagger a little bit.
Yeah.
It kind of gets a little homoerotic for a little bit
good,
there.
though.
And we kind of pass it back and forth and just like, it's the best time ever.
That's amazing.
It's the best.
So we chatted a little, probably about a couple months ago. Are you really thinking about leaving town?
It's still there.
Yeah. How does your girlfriend feel about it? She's ready for it too?
She's supportive and down for whatever I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
She's she can adapt really quickly.
Sure.
She's a smart gal, hard worker.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it.
You tired of Austin?
I'm not tired of Austin.
Or are you tired of yourself in Austin?
That's
the
that's an
comfort,
interesting question.
Yeah.
It hits on something, but I wouldn't say that's the entire. There are several facets to it that really. It's not, obviously it's not the same city that you're not the same city that I fell in love with. You've changed, and it's like you're popular. You got all these
you
friends
gained so
now.
much weight.
Yeah,
City. Yeah.
You've got all these friends now, and I don't know how I feel about all your friends. They're always like calling, and you're always out with them all the time.
Yeah.
Like I'm losing touch with you.
The Europeans are in you. What's the deal?
Man. What the fuck? You smoke now? You didn't smoke. When did you start smoking? I don't. Honestly, I have a deep roots and love in this city. I think I need to take a huge break, though.
Yeah.
It's kind of just, this is like what I'm about to say is the same old kind of cliche, boring shit that everybody in any major city in America is saying right now with the urbanization in America right now. It's sort of like fucking traffic and rent. And it's like, it's a drag. And like when I moved here, I didn't move here for that. So like we're kind of like the city is going through its own puberty in its own sense. It's becoming like a real metroplex.
Sure, for sure. It's finally hitting phase 2.
But like puberty, it's just painful as fuck.
Yeah, sure. But you emerge a better person ultimately.
Eventually.
But think about if someone like you who loves it for the right reasons, loves mixology, loves cocktailing, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, loves it for the right reasons, and has a genuine respect and deference to, or rather respect to the cocktails. Like if you leave, you realize how detrimental and damaging that is.
Not if
do you ever understand?
I don't know what you mean.
Yeah, would you ever understand what kind of role you play in this whole thing? That you actually are one of the pillars that really keeps it good.
I mean, I have an idea. It's not something that I wake up every day and go,
well, I hope not, you megalomaniac, you son of a bitch. But
I know what you mean. I mean, I'm being an ass.
No, it's good.
It's I mean, I get it. I think in all of things, and in all the positions that I've worked and will work in the future, one of the kind of basic, tenets of just how I do what I do is, once I've made myself into a place, I really immerse myself as much as I possibly can.
Right.
And I don't take initiative lightly. I don't, it's a hard thing for a lot of working under some people that aren't really sure where you're coming from. Like I can come on a little bit strong, but it's just because I really give a shit about what I'm doing. Right. And I want to do 110% every time. I want to know everything. Like I didn't choose it to just kind of fuck around and make a few bucks so I can go like,
this is more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm to go like surf or something like that, which is a beautiful calling for anybody who's into that. But I'm not that type of. That's just not my personality type. What's the word that they use? It's sort of cheesy, but you have like a few of those movies that you kind of like watch, or albums that you listen to a lot before you go to bed.
Oh, sure.
And you kind of like, it's kind of comforting, but it also reinforcing of something that you identify with.
Yeah.
And
what does it make you feel so alone?
Totally. Like I'm like, somebody else feels this way.
You're
I'm
right.
Like, I'm not crazy.
I'm not crazy.
One of the first ones that nailed it right on the head when I first saw it was Jiro Dreams of Sushi. This is a person who goes to work every day and has a very specific routine.
Yeah.
And every day they just give everything they can to it.
But that they want to
you feel it every day, and you feel the up and downs.
And it's enough, right? It's enough for them that to be the best, to be the master at this thing.
Yeah, and it's not even about. It's about striving for, obviously perfection that you'll never reach.
Right.
But it's also about, the passion and dignity that you have in your own work ethic every single day.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a rare thing.
I don't think so.
I just think people I think most people will figure it out at some point or another, but we all kind of apply ourselves a little bit differently from case to case, different on our personality types and
how to do it.
Yeah. And our backgrounds as well.
Yeah.
And I've kind of being kind of the type A rut weirdo that I kind of am, is sort of like, I'll go in and I'll do the same thing every day.
Yeah.
But when everything I was doing every day 3 years ago, say when I walked through the doors at Cowboy, is not even close. When I take that moment to kind of go back and reflect on it and be like, when I walked through those doors and I was trying to do what I can.
Yeah.
I was fucking around too much, and that fucking around too much, and that I wasn't really giving my all to research and trying to develop a drink.
Right.
And I'd be like, fuck, I really was just fucking around a little bit. It's kind of sort of shameful.
I mean, it's part of it. It's one of the
phases,
it's
part of the growing process,
yeah, totally is, totally is.
But now, I have people that are under me and they come up to me, we have a new menu coming out, or we're, doing R&D, and they go, try this. And I go I don't know what that is.
Doesn't work.
I'm like, I don't know what it is, but it's not working. And they're like, well, I thought I was going to do this and that. And I was like, oh,
well,
that's
when
really
you decide
nice.
what you really want to do, let me know.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's really nice. And I kind of and then I have to I'm in that position now where even people Brian Dressel or I've worked with Brian Dressel and Josh Loving and Justin Elliott and Adam Bryant at the same time.
Yeah, insane.
And
Dream
I was like,
team.
I'm
Dream
like,
team.
Totally. I'm like, oh, who the fuck am I? How did I end up in this room with these people? It didn't make any sense. I was still stupid as shit.
It's like Scottie Pippen to Jordan, man. Still a key player. It's totally essential to the whole thing.
I was more like the Steve Kerr, man. I had some clutch threes here and there. I can catch a rebound here and there, but I wasn't a star.
The Horace Grant.
Oh man.
Was he a power forward? Is that right?
He was, yeah.
Yeah. It was a good time for the Bulls.
I've always wanted a pair of those fucking glasses, man.
Oh, they're so good.
I'm sure they don't make them anymore. You have to.
What was his brother's name? Grant played also. His other brother.
I
can't remember.
Horace Grant's brother?
Yeah. I swear to God, he had a brother that played in the league too.
Probably did.
Gary Grant. It's good. It's just kidding.
You caught me off guard, man. Damn. Because you know what? I used to collect basketball cards when I was a kid.
Skybox.
I have a shit ton of cards still, dude.
Yeah.
Let me know if you want to trade, man. I got a lot of stuff.
I wish, man.
They're all up in Dallas still.
I've got just so many deadlift shrimps.
Oh, dude.
I've got so many. No one will trade me for that.
No.
No one will
Pacers, yeah?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Got some mini Matumbos.
Oh, Matumbos.
Swimming in Matumbos.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. Well, I think that I hope you don't leave, because I think that your dedication to quality and dedication to doing the right thing and saying things that will help people understand spirits, understand mezcal, understand cocktails, it is paramount to what is the culture of cocktails now.
Well, yeah, definitely. It's to a point where I think it's just, it's going to be, I know from at least the plans that I've made to leave, or at least the rumor to leave, that if that does happen, I probably will spend the last points, months and time here, leaving Cowboy.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And trying to get everybody who is underneath me and wants to learn in a good position to where where I feel that they have kind of the necessary background and tools and training to be able to be independent. So to speak, right? It's one of those hard things, and you're kind of mentioning back, it was about a minute ago, about just throwing ingredients together and just being an ass about it and being You know, I could drink that. Yeah, it's booze. We do all do that at some point. But at some point, you start like really kind of like, you know, you're building a foundation to like making anything. Is that, you know, I couldn't have said it better myself, but I knew what I meant to say, and I was talking to Bill Norris about this one time, and sort of like, you know, we went through a period in Austin, you know, the Austin cocktail, beginning of the Renaissance, or whatever you want to call it, nationwide. But you know, for a long time there, it was, you know, everybody was to accomplish whatever drink or goal they had in mind. We're muddling everything.
Yeah.
And then we went from the muddling season to the house syrups. You know what I mean?
The house bitters,
and obsessing over those things.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was like we were like, you know, infusing everything at the same time, and it was like there were so many cool things happening in the sense that people were like endeared to create and make something work.
Right.
The shitty part is like, you know, you don't walk into a room or with somebody who's just barely picking up the piano and throw fucking like synthesizers and fucking moogs and shit at them that they don't understand yet. You know, you have to have a foundation.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're finally getting to that point where most bars that are worth their salt here, and there's quite a few of them, and I'm pretty proud of that. The city's kind of catching up to a standard as far as the nation is concerned.
Sure.
We're definitely years behind, you know, New York and San Francisco, and
not too far.
Those are the big ones though. You know, what can you do?
Yeah,
there's
2
seniors
out of
in the
50,
game.
Not so
bad.
bad.
It's fine.
Right.
But it's, you know, but everybody's earnestly trying, and I'm starting to see that people are actually going and digging around, you know, for good information, and there are a lot of people putting out good books with good information that translate today.
Information is very ubiquitous,
but nice. We're not going back and you know, kind of like digging up antiquated stuff to be like, well, I'm going to try and synthesize this. We're like, dude, you know, we don't have the same products we had then. Tastes are completely different.
Yeah.
You know, you can't execute the same way. Like you got to reinterpret to today's tastes. Even if there is a standard not involved, but you can complicate it with that. But it's a good thing to see now, where I finally kind of did a lot of research and started drinking a lot of drinks and started understanding why, you know, I use Campari instead of Aperol in this drink, or whatever components. Yeah, you use the right instrument for the job.
You've got the theory.
Yeah, the theory is finally down. That's yes. And to put it, you know, in a way that Bill nailed it for me, that I hadn't thought of it exactly. He goes like, hey man, before you go out and start fucking trying to write your own songs and being your own genius, you know, cover the Beatles 100 times.
Yeah.
And I went,
understand where it came from.
And I was like, okay, I'm going to replace Stones with the Beatles because I'm a Stones dude.
Yeah.
Yes. Cover the motherfucking Rolling Stones for a while.
Yeah.
Like understand palates and tastes and all sorts of approaches. Have a foundation. Understand the theory of all of it before you just start throwing shit into a glass and making it look pretty and charging $20 for it. You know what I mean?
And then you'll understand where everything came from.
And then you'll go so much further.
Yeah.
Like it's an absolute enlightening moment to see a bartender, you know, throw together something really basic, and they go, not basic, but like they have a moment of like humility to be like, I used 3 ingredients in this cocktail.
Yeah.
And that's one of my favorite things, by the way, is like, I'll even ask like our younger employees to be like, make me something with 3 ingredients.
3, right.
And make it fucking sing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with
the
that.
Beatles did it in 4.
Yeah.
You got 3.
You got 3
Nirvana did it in
instruments.
3, so there you go.
If you want to impress me, do it with 2.
Yeah.
Like, be
White
crazy.
striped shit.
You know, that's masterful and crazy as shit. But we're getting, you know, past the point of like, there's nothing wrong with a 10 ingredient cocktail.
Right.
But it's not everybody can do that.
Yeah.
Like you're not there yet.
Overwrought with complication.
Yes, absolutely. And there's a lot of theory behind it as well.
Sure.
And that's a whole other discussion. But
Mozart was more successful than, let's say, like Eric Copeland.
Okay.
Right? The more, or Rachmaninoff.
Okay.
Far more complicated.
Sure.
Right. Mozart wrote hits because it was easy to understand. It was a riff on the basic theory.
Sure.
But not deeply enveloping yourself in these weird tones and weird scales and stuff. Sometimes it becomes too esoteric.
Yeah. The kind of basic thing I always hand them to them, the basic kind of set to anybody, or even anybody like a customer goes like, well, why does it only have 3 things? That seems kind of like cheap and kind of like you're skating by. And I was like, here's the beauty of that. The 3 ingredient cocktail is the acoustic set.
Absolutely.
You're going to hear
the weaknesses
mistakes
are very, very
when
obvious.
they hit, you go, oh, that's...
Yes.
I mean, I'm still going to be like, cool, man. Good job.
When it's good, it's good.
Good
when
work.
It's bad, it's horrible.
Like, oh, well, fuck. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's, if you can nail your acoustic sets before you get the ensemble together and all the fucking equipment that you can barely understand.
Totally agree.
Just nail that shit, man.
It's good, man. And again, I hope you don't leave. I think that Austin needs you, and I think that we're progressing, but at the same time, it's very important that you stick around. So I appreciate you.
Oh, God.
Taking the time to chat with me,
choking
Michael,
up here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. There we have it, Michael Phillips from Midnight Cowboy. Oddly enough, after we stopped rolling, so to speak, he told me he doesn't consider himself a very talkative guy, but I found him to be incredibly nuanced, open, transparent, articulate, and insightful. The kind of work ethic I get from Michael and the things that he's talked about, I think it's a pretty big inspiration to keep at it till it's done right, not being afraid to say that things aren't good, that they don't work. Sometimes we err on the side of positivity too much, and we encourage people to just do shitty work. He holds us to a higher standard, and I hope as a result of this conversation, I hold myself to a higher standard. Thank you so much, Michael, for being a good inspiration to me. And no matter what you guys out there do, keep dancing.